So now that we defeated Phantoon, good news is the power has been restored to the ship. The bad news is there's more baddies to contend with. As you can see, you got these Dalek-looking robots from Doctor Who. Don't hurt you so much, it's just kind of annoying. They'll try to trap you in a corner and just being a general nuisance for the most part. We can get the layout of the crashed ship here with the map, the wrecked ship, excuse me. You can see there's not a lot to it. It's far and away the smallest area, at least relative to the bigger areas in Super Metroid. We're gonna head back up now. Still a few goodies to collect on this ship. Second time I've used goodies in a very short span right there, but that's alright. Head to the left here and grab yourself probably the easiest super missile upgrade you'll get in the game. Sure, we had to, I guess, wrestle with Phantoon first to restore power, but we're not done on this level yet. Bomb in the bottom right corner here. And travel through, you'll find another door. And more of these Dalek kind of robots just being annoying. Use a power bomb right here. And grab yourself another super missile upgrade, the 6th one. Collecting these left and right now all of a sudden. I'm not mad about it. These things are very effective against the bosses. Head back to the main corridor now for the wrecked ship. And we're going to continue heading upwards. We're going to hold off going through this right door. First, we're going to head, we got another save spot here if you need it, right there on the right. We're going to go up and knock out the ceiling here. This is going to take us back out to Criteria, ultimately, where we have a few upgrades we can grab. This is kind of an annoying room. You got to kill all the enemies before the doors will open each time. And they're kind of spread out too. Just work one side to the other. You want to go to the right first. Now this door will unlock. And just kind of force these guys back through shots. Get them to dip down into these little dips for them. I guess they kind of look like R2-D2 as well, now that I think about it. You can see it waiting for us, the 29th missile upgrade right there. Now we're just going to backtrack, clear out the enemies, and go out the left door this time. This will take us outside to Criteria, where we have a number of sneakily hidden power-ups to grab. It's a good time to mention, I'm just thinking to myself, like, you know, people really love this game, deservedly so, in the 90s, to find all of these secrets. I mean, sure, I guess I'm being naive. There were probably just, you know, your basic hint books, like literal physical hint books back in the 90s, where you could find all this stuff, but got to imagine there were a lot of people that, you know, painstakingly bombed every single wall. They just tried everything, and that's part of the appeal of this game, really. Exploration. So ride this platform all the way to the left until you see one above you, then jump on that, and then we're going to shoot and jump, or we're going to jump and then shoot while we're going to the left to reveal and collect our 30th missile upgrade right there. Best way to grab that. Alright, I feel like we're contractually obligated for a Super Metroid walkthrough or playthrough to use the X-ray, so let's equip it right now and check it out right here. Very sneaky. Use the super missile, more right there. Got a little network of tunnels down here. But if we just come over here, get the 31st missile upgrade. And now the frustrating part. We have no way to go except to drop back down. Drop a bomb right here and just drop on down. And we're back in this section now, so we need to go pretty much back exactly where we just were, going through the ship, up through the top, and going outside that left door once again, because a little bit more that we need to grab before we finish on the ship itself. So, kind of annoying, but that's part of the 100% right there. A little bit of backtracking. While we're doing that, let's bring in Fluff for another Fluff fact. Did it again right there. Fluff.
This will probably come as a shock to the many beloved fans of the Metroid series, but Metroid co-creator Yoshio Sakamoto had to continually fight to get Super Metroid greenlit, repeatedly appealing to his bosses at Nintendo until they finally gave the go-ahead in late 1991. The Game Boy's creator and Nintendo bigwig Gunpei Yokoi in particular believed Super Metroid would be a flop, and was purportedly growing angrier and angrier the more work that was put into the game, even going to the lengths of cutting the game's budget and threatening to cancel it on multiple occasions. Happily, when they completed the game, Yokoi purportedly became a big fan of it and played it quite a bit himself.
Interesting. Yeah, I read the quote as we bomb right here. I think he said something along the lines of, what are you, like, trying to make a work of art here? You know, what's taking so long, basically? Little did he know. They really were. That's not, we're not being hyperbolic there, grandiose with that language. It really is that good, so nice to see that he came around once he finally got to play it in the end. But by the way, Yoshi got his namesake from Yoshio Sakamoto, the director of this game, co-creator of the Metroid series, so fun fact there. And these ones will give out the ones that look a little worse for wear. So go into a morph shape right here, and have the Terizo kind of clutch you, the statue. This is a sneaky one right here. And he's going to walk right to left. And then this part really creeped me out when I was a kid, when the camera starts panning down. He takes you down into the depths of this ship here. But happily, we get a sweet item out of it. And that item is the gravity suit. Blaze? Alright, the gravity suit. No more slugging through the water, the swamps, the magma. Are there swamps? I don't know. But anyway, you go at normal speed, and it also cuts damage to Samus by 25%. Very nice. Thank you very much, Blaze. Finally have it, so we can move around at normal speed in the water and head down and take out this R2 Dalek-looking guy here. So we have some more items to be found over here. Starting with missile upgrade number 32. After you grab this, get down and use a power bomb to watch the statue and the wall behind it disintegrate, and then run full speed and do a shine spark right before you hit that wall, and use that to jump straight up and access the third of the reserve tanks here in Super Metroid. Doing pretty good on health now. It's finally time to go back to the main part of the ship and access that one door which we have yet to open. One below the save area. How nice is that? Couldn't make that jump before. when we were stuck under the water. Mind the many spikes here. Probably take a little bit of damage. It's about 15 per. Remember, that would have been a lot more before we got our Varia and our gravity suits. So now we're taking a quarter of the damage that we were taking at the start of the game. Shoot up into the ceiling here to reveal a hidden area. Another one, yes, that's right. Can you believe it? Just conditioned to expect these things at this point. But I love all the sneakiness. Yeah, note, again, these are the ones that'll give away if you hang on them for a little too long. Just take these platforms across and grab your... What are we on, our 9th E-Tank at this point? So many E-Tanks. Energy tanks, specifically, but I guess I'm in a Mega Man mindset right here with the E-Tanks. Just recently did our class on Mega Man X, which, incidentally, I guess after I changed the controls, has the same kind of setup with A being dash, B being jump, and Y being fire, of course. Alright, so at this point we need to backtrack to, I don't know if you remember this, it was a while ago, I mentioned kind of a glass airlock just outside the entrance to Norfair back in Brinstar. If we had gone through that door where we just neglected, just below the ceiling which gave away to get that energy tank, if you go to the right there and you go through that way, it's sort of a back entrance to Maridia, or maybe this is the back entrance to Maridia, where we're going right now. It's a bit more efficient in terms of grabbing all the items if we come in from the back way rather than going in the top way, I guess, with respect to the map. So that's why we're backtracking now and just taking those elevators back down to ultimately the Brinstar area and that little glass airlock that I pointed out before. So let's speed this up a little bit, and to dull the boredom, let's say, let's bring in Fluff for another Fluff fact about Super Metroid. Fluff?
Despite Super Metroid's success and critical acclaim, Sakamoto intended to make Super Metroid the final game of the series. Then, 8 years later, American developer Retro Studios worked with Nintendo without Sakamoto's involvement to make the first-person Metroid Prime. Sakamoto wasn't happy with the decision to revive the property after where he left it, so he made Metroid Fusion in retaliation to ensure he was still involved in the series he created. Despite all this, there were loose plans for a Metroid 64 for the Nintendo 64, but it was abandoned when the team couldn't come up with any solid ideas. Sakamoto considered making it for a brief period himself, but didn't know how the Nintendo 64's controller would translate to moving Samus, and he believed it was just too soon for him to make a 3D Metroid game in the wake of Super Metroid.
Perfect timing, thank you very much, Fluff. This would have been a hell of a game to go out on, I will say. Just give it a second for that power bomb to take effect, but that's where you want to drop one. Very cool effect right there. Maridia is above us, but if you want to save, come on down here and do so in the pod right there. You can see we stopped off at our ship before we headed back underground, so we're relatively good on all of our supplies at this point. Alright, first thing we want to do in Maridia is head to the right here. This is going to be one of the trickier missile upgrades to get in this game. Open that gate and clear out all the ground enemies in particular. And then run from the right side to the left side and shine spark right before you go through this door so that it's all charged up and ready to go. Then immediately run over here, get on that plant, and use it right there. Note that the shine spark only lasts about 5 seconds before it disappears, the effect. So you may have to try that a few times, but there's that 33rd missile upgrade right there. Now we're going to go back through this area and progress to the next door, as usual, as normal. Love the effect of that water in the foreground. Acting as kind of a little filter on the lens there. It's a very nice effect. These little sandy areas are very frustrating. Make sure you get the full jump in for the most part. difficult to make a good jump when you have the weight of the sand bearing down on you, so it's one of those things that takes a little doing to get familiar with. Use these guys as makeshift platforms to avoid the sand. It's kind of tricky getting a full jump. You're coming out of the sand. Alright, so this time we're going to hang on to this one. You can see it's a little worse for wear. This is another one of those very tricky jumps to make. Bad enough trying to come out of the sand right here, but if you can get a full jump right there, you can get through, and then we got to do a few wall jumps. Those guys are pretty annoying, obviously. So you can kind of lure them down like we did right there. That might be the best strategy for getting around them, and they're so weak that even our grappling beam can take them down. But yeah, go to the right when you touch down and go through this door. Drop a power bomb as soon as you come in. If you wait just a split second like I did, then Shaktool will get all confused, so let's speed this up actually. Get him to come back over here to the right side. And just let him do his thing, basically. As he's clearing out the sand for us. More efficiently than Toad in Super Mario Bros. 2, if you ask me. There's a reference right there. And go into a ball. And go in the left path here. Just use your bombs to get you up here, but no longer must we use bombs to propel us up into the air when we are morphing. Blaze?
Alright, the spring ball, this allows you to jump when you're in the morph ball form, so it makes getting around very easy in tight spaces with the spring ball.
Very satisfying, yeah. Just hit that jump button when you're morphed up, and yeah, beats dropping bombs. Let's just fall through the floor right here, bomb that left side, and we're just gonna head back out to the left. And this time, we're swinging right across. Don't hang out this time. Make your way back here, amongst all these little Draygons. We'll meet their dad in a little bit, or their mom, I'm not sure. Whatever Draygon is. That should be a fun time. That's the one that Gary has an especially fun strategy for, which I think most people who've played this game before know, but still a good time. So note these enemies coming out of this hole in the floor. Let's go into that floor in the hole. Go to the right here, and we can get the layout for Maridia. Get our map all filled out there. Gonna keep heading left here and then drop down, which is gonna put us right back outside of the broken tube which we created with our power bomb earlier. Open up that gate and drop down right here, and this just spits us out back in Brinstar and right here in the tube. We're gonna head back up to go into Maridia once again. Back in this main chamber. This time we're gonna explore it a little bit more. Take this first door on the right. Once you go up. Use some wall jumps here. You can freeze the fish and use the ledges, but it is more efficient if you just use that wall jumping technique. And then there's a hidden wall right there. False wall. Missile your way through this red door. And we have another creature who's, well, they're trying to kill us, but they're also kind of useful. Ride the shell up into the sky, and we'll get our 10th energy tank. I like Samus. Hamming it up for the camera right there. And there's a bit more to the right. This one is very well hidden, I have to say. Here we want to switch to our power bomb and drop down this time, hugging that wall, and man, a nasty person that hit a missile right there. That's our 34th missile upgrade. Remember the days before the internet? No one ever found that missile. Or maybe you don't remember the days before the internet, so there you go. Maybe you always knew where that missile was, but run back here and just obliterate that guy with our speed boost. Gonna take this top right door now. Another large chamber. Maridia's full of rather large chambers, and we have another sneaky area. See where that creature just went in, that crustacean-looking creature? Just ducked in the wall right there. Grab our 7th super missile upgrade right there, so we have a max of 35. Yeah, I love how hidden everything is in Maridia. It's the land full of secrets here in Zebes, the area full of secrets. Go back up again. And we're gonna play Tarzan a little bit here. This is a pretty satisfying move right here. We're going to this right ledge. Love it. I gotta say, if Samus ever gives up the bounty hunting gig, then he's got a job waiting for her in the circus. These are some slick moves. I think I read once that Nintendo named her a bounty hunter early on because they thought it sounded cool. They didn't really know what it meant. And then they're like, oh, maybe bounty hunter's not the best term for her. Doesn't feel very hero-like, I guess, or heroine-like. Anyway, wall jump up there and go to the right for another false wall and our 35th missile upgrade right here. Got a nice 1-2 punch with a couple upgrades coming up here in a second as we move up and to the left. Get to use our spring ball a little bit here to get through some tight spaces. Another false wall here on the left. Just run right through. Should be able to, with a little bit of momentum, make that jump without having to do anything fancy. And drop down here, go right in the middle. Grab our 8th super missile upgrade on the left, and our 36th missile upgrade over here on the right. Room kind of feels like something also out of Super Mario 2 / Doki Doki Panic, kind of there in the final land warts level. Heading back now. Go through the wall once again. By the way, you can see we're still leaving a little blue on our map. We're not making a point to, touch every section of every room. Hope you'll forgive us for that. It doesn't affect the official completion score at the end for what it's worth, but bomb this middle piece in the floor. Drop on down. Use a super missile right there to upset that crustacean creature. And this is an area you'll become very familiar with. We need to come back through here a few times. First thing to do is charge up your Shine Spark and jump up here to get your 37th missile upgrade. Just like we had this pairing a second ago, we also have a super missile to the right here. Careful where you step, that will give way, that little platform area there. But we have our penultimate, our 9th super missile upgrade right here. Now we can step on this as it gives way and we can drop down. And this time we want to go to all the way on the bottom right and bomb right here. This is the annoying part because we have 2 sandpit areas. There's one to the left as well. And we need to drop down into each of them. Just kind of, go morph ball right there and try to gap the enemies, but make sure you don't fall again. We need to grab the upgrades from this area first, which includes our 38th missile upgrade. We're getting close here. And again, being careful not to fall or get sucked into the sand beneath you, we want to jump up here. And yeah, just do that, as soon as you jump, do that double tap to go down into a morph ball and fit into that little hole right there. Grab that power bomb. That's our 7th power bomb. That's all we need to grab here. Unfortunately, now we need to drop down here and do it all over again. Gotta find the right spot to give way, but yeah, there you go. So now we need to backtrack, and I've gone ahead and edited it for us, so we don't have to sit through that, but just go back up and around once again, because it kicks you out of Maridia altogether, basically. Just gotta follow that same course to get back here, but take the left sand pit this time. If I could get a good jump out of here, it's frustrating. Frustration is real. There's a good jump. Alright, and just clear out that block right there. We can just shoot this with our beam, but be careful, this floor will give way, so we want to use our spring jump right there, spring ball jump. We get our 4th reserve tank right there on the right. And then on the left side, we have our 39th missile upgrade. How about that? So 195 is the total right now, our max capacity on those. So now one last time, we will drop through the sand and make our way all the way around once again to get back to where we just were. And here we are. Alright, so this time, now that we've gotten all the power-ups beneath this area, we're going to wall climb up here on that left wall, go through this door up top. Got these Metroid-looking creatures here. They're not actually Metroids, they're called Mocktroids, very fittingly. Wannabe Metroids. But yeah, use your speed booster to run through those walls there on the right. And now it's time for another boss. Let's throw it back to Gary.
Boss beaters. Alright, Botwoon, this one can just take a while, especially if you don't have super missiles, but if you can be accurate with them and stack a lot of these super missiles, when you get clear shots of that head, take them. 10 super missiles takes them down. Otherwise, it's a lot of the smaller, weaker missiles, and it's a bit of a longer slog fighting out with Botwoon, but yeah, there you go. Not too difficult.
Yeah, Botwoon, Fantoon. Getting mixed up. Yeah, just some good licks with some strong missiles. Just moving so fast at this point. I don't know if you want to use your waste your good stuff on him. But once he's down, head into the room behind him. We have our 11th energy tank right up here. Just got to use our spring ball right at the edge. There you go. Just a few more of those to grab here on Zebus. Once you grab that, run to the left and do a speed boost through to the right. Another area where you can just stock up on supplies right here. Let's do that right now and speed things up for a second. Can't get our missiles in good shape. Find out what our actual max totals are at this point. And we should be at 45 on our super missiles. There you go. So we have 3 power bombs left to get. 1 super missile left to get. And I guess 7 more of the regular missile upgrades, so. Speaking of missiles, if you want to top yours off, even though we just kind of did, you can morph into that bottom right area and just spring ball over these guys. And there is a missile replenishing station right through here. And then you just speed boost back to the left through all these pipes, all this pipage here. And then probably wall jumping is just the fastest way to get up here. You can use your grappling beam, but I just assume do it the wall jumping way. Not quite as pesky as the proper Metroids, but This area is kind of annoying just because a lot of times you're jumping out of the sand. It can kind of grip you and mess with your jumps, so you can't get your wall jumps off the way that you want to. Plenty of areas to use your grappling beam here, but I just assume do the wall jumps. This is one exception right here, because you can't do wall jumps. We have a very narrow window right there. There we go. And then you can see the animation when we hook onto a side wall jump right there, or a side grappling hook location. Let's do a proper save. Just to hear that sound and enjoy the nice blinking lights. Top off your health in this room. Think if I didn't know any better, they're throwing all these charging stations and save spots at you. We got a big boss fight coming up, right? We actually do, but it's not that big. Especially with Gary's boss beater, but still a good time. These spikes are fake, by the way, but over here on the right, if you shoot this, you get your 40th missile upgrade. And we're going to go through the spikes on the left-hand side of the floor. And Fluff, I'm told you have a Fluff fact about the upcoming boss here?
Here's a sweet one which took over 20 years to be revealed. But when Draygon's little offspring, the Evirs, appear in Draygon's room ahead of the boss, their movement pattern spells out Keiko Love in English. This was a reference to a woman which Super Metroid's enemy programmer Yasuhiko Fuji was dating at the time, Keiko. Feeling guilty at not being able to make time for her, he got the idea for the Easter egg and programmed it into the game late at work one night when everyone else was sleeping. Fuji was the only one who knew about the Easter egg outside of maybe Keiko herself for 20 years until Fuji did a magazine interview and revealed this around 2007.
Good call, that is sweet. Gotta bring in Gary now for tips on how to beat him. Gary?
Boss beaters. Alright, there's two ways to deal with Draygon. You can stay on the left-hand side of the room, and then face left and let him catch you. This is my preferred way. Then when he carries you up, switch to your grapple, and you'll see that exposed conduit that's lit up. Fire at that when you're lined up with it. You'll kill him instantly from the electricity you'll course through your body into his. Or, the longer, more boring way, just shoot him in the belly repeatedly with your best missiles for a very long slog. I prefer the first method, but do what you want to do. That's how you take down Draygon.
Good call, and the sad little babies there. But yeah, that was a sweet story from Fluff, and that was a great strategy from Gary. Thank you very much, both of you. And our prize for taking him down, a very useful item indeed, the space jump. Blaze?
Alright, the space jump. This could take a little work to get used to, but you could essentially never come down. Just keep stacking jump after jump if you use this in the right way.
Yeah, just tap that jump button when you're at the peak of your jump, when you're in that somersault formation there, and yeah, pretty much the entire world is open to us now that we have this. There is no ceiling too high. But as Blaze mentioned, it does take a little getting used to. So now we're going to backtrack, just have a little bit more to do in Maridia before we head out. Most notably, we need to get the most powerful weapon in the game for Samus here. Gonna go through this top door over here. It's a little fidgety. We got it. Thanks for the platform there, Mocktroid. It's not bad if you don't need to change directions in particular. A little bit easier, but morph through here. And certainly a situation where you would need to have that space jump right there just to get around that little ledge that's sticking out too far for conventional wall jumping right there. And the plasma beam, just hug this surface right here and go up and around. Use this for a little stepping off point. Still doing the wall jumps right there. I can't help myself, but yeah, the plasma beam is through here. These guys can kind of mess up your jump a little bit. Still don't have that screw attack. That'll be one of the final items which we get, the one that lets you do damage when you're in the middle of a somersault. But we'll take what we got. Don't know what that is, but let's kill it. It's disgusting, I know that. It just drops straight down over on the right. Not well concealed or anything, but here it is, the plasma beam. Blaze?
Alright, the plasma beam, the most powerful of all of the beams, damages multiple enemies. You can use this with other beams to add additional properties to it, but very powerful, most powerful beam in the game. Can't combine this with the spacer for what it's worth, but the power you get from the plasma, well worth it.
Good call, Blaze. So now we're up around sort of the back way that we would have come in had we gone in through the wrecked ship, which I mentioned back when we were on that wrecked ship, that one door that we didn't go through. We're sort of in that neighborhood when it comes to Maridia here. So now we've had our fun. We've collected pretty much, I think we've cleaned out Maridia in full. So just use your super missile on this to enter this little shortcut tube, which is going to pop you back out in a familiar location once you drop down here. Right there. And back in this little corridor here, little airlock area, and how many times have we seen this screen now? But thankfully the space jump makes getting through here a lot easier. Don't have to worry about the sand bearing down all that weight on you because you just keep jumping up through it. And drop down here for the shortcut. Back to the left here. And once again, when we find that little hole over here on the left, this will drop us down right by the entrance, the elevator to Norfair, which we're going to take. Time to turn our attention to one of the final bosses, Ridley. Have some more items to grab here as well. Obviously some more missiles, but especially the aforementioned screw attack. And now we basically have the entire map open to us in terms of getting around. You'll see, I think we mentioned this earlier, but the plasma beam replaces the spacer beam, so it's more powerful. We'll take that. Doesn't spread quite as much. I mean, you get 2 beams instead of 3, but it's a lot more powerful, and the spread is pretty much the same, actually, as the spacer, so we'll certainly take that. But if you get nostalgic for the spacer, you can always re-equip that, but you have no reason to at this stage in the game. I'm here to tell you. Alright, so now we can finally go down here. We haven't traveled down here before. Use one of our power bombs to open this orange door here. Hope you're up for a swim. Just dive right in right here. Don't worry, our suit is protecting us from the giant vat of high sea right here. So we're passing the gate into Ridley's lair this time. Got the elevator to take down. If you want to save, we have a save stop right here. Hope that doesn't hurt. Doesn't look comfortable. The electricity bolts there. But yeah, let's head on down, descend into Ridley's lair. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you.